Starting. It's starting and we're live. What's up, guys? It's starting and we're live. What's up, guys? We're snacking. We haven't eaten lunch yet. That's how dedicated we are to you guys. We're showing up without having eaten lunch yet. So you have to excuse us. We have a few last minute tasks to do before we get started. We're going to get started at 10 after, so in about 4 minutes. What I want to do now is I want to make sure that you can see and hear me. There's a comment box on your screen. Say that you can see and hear us. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We love to know where you guys are from. Give tips if you've ever been sourcing in your part of the country, neck of the woods, wherever. Also, there was something else I was going to say. I want to make sure the comment box is working too. So do that. I'm going to get one last thing going. And let's check on.
Can I shut down this YouTube box to open up some bandwidth?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me check the comments. Can you guys see us? All right. If you guys are live with us, I need you to comment. I need to make sure that we're all good here so we can get started. Dropping the goods for you guys.
I don't normally like s'mores, but that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, the marshmallows aren't so bad. Do you guys like marshmallows? Yes or no? Yes to marshmallows and no to marshmallows. Let me know.
One thing I said I never heard of until I came out to California was the
s'mores. Yeah, you've never had a s'more before. So of course, you guys, I had to make s'mores for him.
We don't do all that where I'm from. Campfires and.
I think I just made regular homemade s'mores that time. All right. 2 minutes, guys. We're 2 minutes away. We are counting down. We're paying attention. We're not ignoring you guys. If you're live with us,
give us a jingle.
Yeah. Can I get a comment?
Let us know how you're feeling today. Hump day for some. What do I like to say about the hump day? Sorry. Hump day for some. Master the hump for others. Let us know also where you're watching from, what city, state. We just always find it fascinating to know where you guys are chiming in from. Now, may or may not know we are in the Portland, Oregon area. So we're in the Pacific Northwest. We started our journey in reselling in Southern California, but we've actually, at this point, we've done reselling successfully in 3 corners of the country, including the Northeast. So again, it's something you can do from anywhere, but I'm just always find it fascinating. So let us know where you're watching from.
Yes. Thank you for chatting with them live.
That's what I do best. I'm a chatterer.
And if you know anything about us, you know that we are very participative. So
is that a word?
We require participation. So I see that there are multiple people watching right now, and I see that you are not following instructions and commenting.
We need some feedback.
And
Amy says hello. Sharon says hello. Thank
there
you
guys. We go.
Salt Lake City, thank you in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sharon, for being so coachable and friendly.
Salt Lake City.
Amy.
Sharon, I thought you were in Washington. Do you have a WSU profile picture?
Oh, yeah, I thought she was in.
Maybe that's a different Sharon. Hey, Amy.
You know where you're at, Amy. Thank you, and glad you're on tonight.
We appreciate the participation. All right, guys. Let me wrap this up. I'm going as fast as I can, and as fast as my computer will let me go. My brain works about 1,000,000 miles an hour. All right. Different Sharon. Okay. We have like multiple of people, and it sometimes gets a little confusing.
Yes. Quite glad you're joining us from beautiful Salt Lake City. That's actually on our short list of places to visit and road trip to. Allie wants to see all the parks. So hopefully we can stay connected. Hopefully we can work together, and hopefully we'll be coming out to your part of your neck of the woods soon.
Yeah.
For you guys, Sharon and Amy, who are on and giving us feedback, is the video clear? Is our voices loud enough?
Is the music too loud?
Yeah, let us just.
Are we good to go?
I'm on my phone. Just gave me a reminder. Don't yell at me.
Cardinal sin.
I'm gonna mute all my stuffs. Mute.
All right, shutting this down. It's awesome here. Love the outdoors. Yeah, well, that's why we moved to the Pacific Northwest, because we love the outdoors.
Yes, we can't wait to
hear you. Great. Perfect.
Try your outdoors. All right, I think I'm all muted, including my watch.
Putting the link in. Come on.
You're 2 minutes late, Hal.
I know, guys. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you sticking with us.
And joining us. You know, this is a little bit different time than our normal Thursday masterclass. So, but we wanted to do something special for the end of July. I can't believe it flew by already. This is my birthday month. So I was kind of having a good old time. Picking my head up, and July's over already. So that's how it'll be.
Did you say that's how it be?
That's how it'll be.
You are funny. All right.
You need to do anything else while you're scrambling?
No.
I got my notes up.
We always say we're gonna stop being late, and then
life happens.
Life happens.
Life usually happens. Does life ever happen for you guys too?
We have this grand plan. We're like, oh, we're gonna go to Chick-fil-A for lunch, and we're gonna get all of our stuff done in the morning, so we can do this kind of impromptu masterclass. And lo and behold, we're still running late and haven't even done lunch. Are we still gonna go to Chick-fil-A later?
I don't know yet. See how I feel.
Okay. Fair enough, love. Fair enough. All right, so here, so close, guys.
I have no idea what you're doing, but I have a whole new respect for you. Guys, if you saw everything that had to happen for this little live video, you'd be amazed. So
yeah, there's like a lot of back end stuff that we have to do. I had to build a new web page today just to be here for you guys.
Wow, thank you so much.
All right. Okay.
Did you wipe our little screen off?
No, I'll do that, guys. We're gonna cut this part out. We were gonna wait, but we're like, we know that people are gonna be here, and so we're just gonna show up live, real. It is what it is.
Did you get the stuff for the QS?
No, we'll do it at the time.
All right.
Real, raw. We're not scripted. We're not perfect or pretending to be. It's hot in here. Our office has these big windows. I'm sweating. It's the middle of summer.
Yeah, actually overpowered the air conditioning. Huh?
Yeah, like the air has no chance in here. Okay, I think we're ready. That's out. Okay, we're good to go. Are you good to go, Jared?
I'm great to go.
Are we good on this screen, or do you want to see the other screen? Like
I have my notes here.
I'm talking about.
Oh, I like that better.
All
that
right.
other screen like we're in the 70s. That's a little gust of wind.
Well, okay then. Let me see if I can get the comments to show you guys. Okay, we're gonna try to have comments up while we go live. We like interacting with you live.
Yes, so feel free, whether it's a comment, whether it's a question, whether it's something that you've experienced or something that you are experiencing. Again, all feedback is good feedback for us. And if you have a question, we'll do our best to answer it kind of live in the flow. So
yes, we good?
Great, let's do it.
Okay. Hi guys, welcome. All of you guys, this is a closed training. We didn't like advertise this or promote this to anyone in our group. So you guys all know who we are. I'm Hallie. This is my lovely husband, Jared. We have a business, Flippin' Freedom, where we teach you guys how to do our business, which is reselling. We've been now in business 2 years. We did $60,000 in sales in our first year on a part-time basis, working out of our PJs from home. And we kind of accidentally stumbled onto this business, but we just loved it so much. And coming from, for us, we actually met in network marketing, a background in network marketing. We wanted to help people so badly, and we wanted to help them make money and experience freedom. And you've heard our mission of freedom, fulfillment, and happiness. And we wanted that so badly for other people, but we had a hard time achieving that goal through the vehicle of network marketing. We love network marketing. It works. But what we saw in our time was that a lot of people relied on network marketing as if they needed money. And I think it's a great growth tool. It's something you can build over time. But if you need to make money, and you need like cash you can actually feel, we think reselling is the easiest, most no-brainer way to do that from home part-time without having to talk to anyone or be an extrovert or learn how to like sales skills, closing clients and cold calling and talking to your friends and family, and like it doesn't require any of that. So it's just so accessible for the average person, and that's what we loved about it, which you guys probably already know, but sometimes it's worth sharing again. So today we created a masterclass. We've had, probably like a small handful of masterclasses that we've taught. And we were just gonna offer it and teach one that we've already taught. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for us to create a new masterclass. So this is brand new, never talked about content before that we're gonna be sharing with you. So the title of today is Going Further, Faster, the 3 never talked about keys to avoiding failure and burnout in your reselling business.
Yeah, and the whole thought process is we want you guys to shorten your learning curve, right, and not hit the pitfall, that fatal pitfall that knocks you out of the game. And it happens to a lot of people. We talked about this not too long ago, actually, with Amber, is because the beauty of this business is that if you do it right, it's a fairly low cost of entry to do it. So anyone could really feasibly do the business of reselling. But because it is a low barrier to entry, we're also not really sold in or bought in. And if something happens that we don't like or can't figure out or pisses us off, for a lot of us, that can be the thing that knocks us out of the game and causes us to miss our blessing. So that's kind of the background behind tonight's masterclass.
So I want to know, for any of you guys who are live, I see there are people live now, so I'm expecting more than 2 people to respond.
Yes.
I want to know in the comments, have you ever been afraid of failure in reselling? Either now or in the past, have you ever been afraid of failure? I want you to type in, I've been afraid. It's okay to admit that. So if you've ever been afraid of failure at any time about reselling, I want you to write in the comments, I've been afraid of failure, or I'm ready to get over it. Whatever it is that feels right for you, I want to see those comments come in before we share our first key with you guys and jump right into the content.
Right. In our story, because I always like to intermingle a lesson, right, and our personal experience or perspective of story. So our story, we weren't afraid of failure in reselling, but we were afraid of failing because, like Hallie said, we were coming fresh off of, for me, the better part of 10 years, really grinding and trying, committing to network marketing, relationship marketing, whatever you want to call it, trying to help people and build a team. And it was just a failure after a failure. And we tried freelancing work. We tried, everything all the way to the extremities of donating plasma, right? And it was just one failure after another. So if anything, we weren't afraid of failing at reselling. We were just afraid of failing. We couldn't afford any more failures. We couldn't afford any more missteps. We needed this like oxygen, literally. So that's kind of our background. But again, feel free. Don't be too proud or too embarrassed to share. One of the things that we are very, I guess, passionate about now is just being very real and forthcoming with you guys, and we want you to do the same with us.
For sure. So let me check those comments.
So Sharon says, and thank you, Sharon, you are a trooper. My fear has been growing even with the small success I've had. Absolutely. Super understandable.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So the first key is we want to teach you how to copy the success stories in less time to speed up your success, regardless of your skill level or experience. So this is perfect for you, Sharon. growing even with the small success you've had, the number one thing you want to do is you want to learn to separate real from noise. Hi, Kate. Welcome.
Hey, Kate from Connecticut.
You want to be able to separate what's really happening from the noise.
Right. And this is based off of a lesson we learned in business, and that is success typically leaves clues, right? And also with the internet, everybody and their mom is an expert at something, or everyone has an opinion or a perspective about something. So for Hallie and I, we got caught up pretty badly with trying to follow every little bit of noise and advice and everything that we could find. And that's really a surefire way to kind of spin yourself in circles till you're dizzy and you say the heck with it.
Right. And I think a lot of times if you're returning to YouTube for your results, like there's a lot of outdated information. There's a lot of just bad information that people are like actively doing. But it's just bad because it's not going to get you where you want to go, especially if you want to make several $1,000s on a part-time basis, which is really what we're here for. Like, we're not here to teach people who are already full-time resellers how to become multiple six-figure sellers or anything like that.
Right, or how to become a millionaire doing Amazon FBA. Our niche, and I said this not too long ago, you want to start with the end in mind, right? So one of the things that we knew going in is, how do we want this business to manifest? And for us, it was something that could produce a full-time income on a very part-time basis. And to this day, we literally do this business 20 to 25 hours a week. And we always use the analogy with you guys who have been with us long enough. We use the analogy of having a business that we could fit in a box, right? So when we're working our reselling business, we open up the box, we take it out, we do what we do, and when we're done for the day, it goes back in the box and it gets stacked neatly on the shelf. So for us, that's what we wanted, right? And so what we did in the beginning, we started to look for people whose lifestyle kind of emulated what we wanted, what we thought we wanted. And much to our surprise, there weren't a lot of resellers that we did find online that were living a kind of lifestyle that we wanted. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it just wasn't what we wanted.
Right, like having basically a house that's a storage unit, which is fine temporarily as you're getting started. But actually reselling allowed us to go from renting a room, like in a shared house, to having our own house, which is way larger than what we need personally, but it allows us to live in a nicer house in a nicer area.
It allows us to actually relocate, to our dream city. So
right, and now we have more than enough space for our inventory, so it doesn't overwhelm us. It's off on one side of the house in like a very segmented part of the house where, like, when we're over there, we're working, and when we put it away, like, the rest of our house is ours.
Yep. So again, what our advice for you: follow the advice of people who you can kind of see yourself in, or you'd like to see yourself in, right? That's the start of this part of the training. Again, there's 100 different types of personalities and styles and approaches to the business. And even if it's not us, that's okay, right? We're not for everybody. We're just true to who we are. But ultimately, you want to find someone. Is our broadcast open? I like that screenshot. But ultimately, you want to find someone who you resonate with, and then you want to follow them instead of taking the what do they call it? The shiny object syndrome.
Shiny object, yeah. Or like what we did really was like we threw spaghetti at a wall to see what stuck. And yeah, so emulating and modeling what other people are doing is so important. Whereas what we did in the beginning was we weren't modeling or emulating any one person. We were watching multiple different people's YouTube videos and reading their blogs and their Instagrams and in Facebook groups. And not only were we getting information from so many different sources, but there was a lot of it
conflicting usually, right?
Right. And then within those individual people, different advice that they offered, like they're like, so if you can imagine like a web of like us like this, and then like people that we were following, and the different advice that they were following. And we were just cherry picking all these different things. And we had no strategy and no intention behind what we were doing. And so we're not saying that you like, we have to be like your sole source of information or education when it comes to reselling. But when it comes to modeling your business, if you're going to be doing it efficiently, you want to focus. Follow one course until successful.
That's great. Say that again. That's a great analogy. And guys, if you're hearing this, type this in too, because this is a lesson, honestly, you can apply it throughout your life. Mm-hmm. So please share that again. I forgot, we live it, but I forgot about how powerful it is.
Focus. Follow one course until successful. So that. If you're hearing that, if that resonates with you, type focus into the comment box.
Super powerful.
And that's why, like, we have so many ideas. Like, Jared is a machine, like, when it comes to producing new ideas for different businesses. And I'm always telling him, like, look, we already have 3 businesses. Like, and we didn't build them all at once. Like, we did one, we got one under our belt, we started another one. So, like, we were doing reselling. Reselling was working, with producing income, paying our bills. And then we opened up our car rental fleet. And then when we were like, oh, we don't even need to really do anything for this, it's super automated. Focus, my biggest challenge. I can relate to that.
Here.
You know, and then we were like, we had reselling under our belt. We had our small rental fleet. And we're like, you know what, let's start a community that we can pour into, share what we know, because we were doing network marketing, sharing what we know and helping people. But people weren't getting the results that we wanted. Like, we could have continued with what we were doing. And what a lot of people do, and I'm not bagging on network marketing, is they keep doing it when it's not working, and they pretend that everything's okay.
There's a lot of fakery in that industry.
And we're just like, no, like, these people that, like, we personally care a lot about the people that we work with. Thanks for participating, Kate.
Yes, thank you, KG.
We put a lot of, like, heart and care into what we do. And so the people that were on our team were like, we really care about these people, and they're struggling, and they're paying every month, and they're not getting the returns that they expected. And we were doing everything that we could to help them. And it wasn't working. We could create results for ourselves, but it was really hard to duplicate those results that we were having for other people. So while we were recruiting 10 people a month, a lot of our team was struggling to recruit 1 person a month.
Or sell any product. I mean, you guys have been in network marketing, you know the drill. So,
right. I think everyone has either been in or
selling
heard
products, getting customers,
friends and family,
going to events. So, I mean, we all know the drill. Weekly meetings that cost money. You know, so it's funny. I just put a post up on my personal page today because I was just kind of celebrating some of the success that we've helped a lot of our students had with Flipping Freedom. And it just means a lot. It really fills me up to be able to teach someone how to fish, in essence, and go and do their own thing.
Yeah, so we're really happy with the results people have been getting, which is why we're still here teaching what we know, and trying to find new ways to help you guys out, hence this masterclass. Right,
so ultimately, to put a bow on this point.
Wait, I'm not done with this point.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was going to go here.
I almost did that. But okay.
Sorry. No, okay. We're still in key 1, guys. We're getting off on some tangents. No. Go ahead.
No, so again, ultimately, and again, in life in general, even with us, like being a married couple, I'm probably not going to listen too intently to someone who has a failing marriage, or the guy who's cheating on his wife, or, you know, something like been divorced 3 times. I mean, to some extent. So again, with this, you know, take your advice, listen the best to the people whose lifestyle or you like the most, or people who you see yourself in. That's
it. So find someone who's successful, doesn't have to be us, and study what they're doing. Because the closer that you can mirror match them, the more likely you are to create results quickly. And that's going to keep you in the game so that you can start to have your own unique advantage work in your favor. The biggest thing that you need to do, and the reason why most businesses fail because they're not making money, because they have cash flow problems. Majority of businesses that fail. So would it be a surprise if most people started reselling and failed? No, but I can tell you the way to avoid it. So we're talking about avoiding failure. If you don't want it, going out of business is the ultimate failure because you went into business to make a profit, to make it work. You might learn things while you're in, like a restaurant. Oh, nobody likes barbecue in the city that I live in, and I opened a barbecue restaurant. So in the end, it might be good, but at the end of the day, you still failed in what your mission was, which was, in this weird example, to provide a barbecue restaurant to your community. And so to avoid quitting on reselling, when you can mirror match someone that's successful, and basically no different than if you're hiking and you follow someone's footsteps. Like you take the same path they did, because if you step on a different rock, like you might be stepping on a loose rock and end up falling and hurting yourself. And it's the same thing here. So follow our footsteps is a
because we and again, those of you guys who've been with us, you've heard some of the horror stories, some of the missteps, some of the mistakes from listening to all of this hodgepodge of advice. So the whole point is to not to have to touch the fire yourself to know that it's hot, right? And that's kind of one of the reasons we decided to put this community together.
We're like a bag full of cliches today.
Yes.
So don't be afraid to ask for help, ask for suggestions, ask for advice. That's what the Flippin' Freedom group is there for. It's a free group that you guys can participate in.
There's no judgment. There's no snide remarks. There's none of the BS that you may witness and observe in some of the other groups.
And the importance of asking for help is that if your goal is something that you can accomplish on your own without any help or without anyone else, you're probably not dreaming big enough. You're probably not stretching yourself and pushing yourself to actually accomplish the real thing that you want.
Right. So if you come and say, well, I want to make, and there's nothing wrong with this, but if you say, well, I want to make $300 a month, I want to say, well, that's great, but with the same type of effort, the same type of action and motion, you could probably bring in $2,000 or $3,000 a month, right? So again, you want to think bigger, and typically people who've already accomplished it are already thinking bigger because they've discovered and experienced that it's a reality.
Mm-hmm. So challenge yourself to outwork the person. So figure out what the person. So just to recap of what we've been talking about in key 1, which is how to copy the results. You want to separate what is real from noise, what's outdated and old from relevant today. And then you want to find that person that's successful in doing that thing. You want to mirror match them as much as possible, ask for help. And then when you know the steps that they're taking, when you know the process, the how-to aspect of it, then you want to try to outwork them. Because if they got to where you want to go, there's probably a level of work ethic or hustle or grit that they're putting in behind it. And if you can attempt to outwork them, you're also going to speed up those results.
Right. And we have so many examples, whether it's Amy, who got started, she hit the ground running, she followed our advice of going around her house, getting resourceful, and whether it was a sports bra or old furniture or whatever the case may be, did what she had to do and was able to produce a $1,500 extra. So
in her first 30 days.
Right, by basically matching what we're talking about and then actually matching and probably surpassing our own effort. So I know without a shadow of a doubt, any of our students, if they match, let alone surpass our effort, I know what the results are going to be. It's a foregone conclusion.
Right, and it's the kind of a good way to think about it is like you could literally know in your mind everything that we know about reselling and have learned and all of our skills and knowledge. But if you don't apply the work ethic behind it, like those nuances and the strategies that we have and that we share both in Flippin' Freedom and in our program 0 to 60 are not going to compensate for not doing the work.
Right. There's nothing that compensates. What we teach is to do it smarter, to do it a little bit different, to find your niche, right? Because most 99% of resellers aren't going to know what we talk about in this group. Mm-hmm. So you have a huge advantage there, being able to sell a t-shirt for 10 times what someone else would. Like that all adds up. But if you don't do the work, I mean, it's like, what's the old saying? Like knowledge without action is.
I know the saying, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
So let's move on.
Okay, so that's key 1. Do you guys understand that? Find someone to model. You got to separate the real from the fake. You got to know what's old and outdated, what's relevant. And then ask for help. Mirror match what they're doing and outwork them at the same time.
And it could be someone online, like obviously you guys have met us through some version of online. It could be someone locally, right? Mm-hmm. Through sourcing, someone who's actually getting it done, someone who say, you know what, I want to have a lifestyle or business like theirs. It doesn't matter, but just kind of find that person, that thing to model.
Right. So moving on to key number 2. Are you guys ready for key number 2? Comment ready. There's even more people on than before, so I'm expecting more people to comment.
Where can you see
engage.
How many people are on?
Right here.
Okay.
And then the comments are over there.
Yep. So thanks, Amy. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Kate, for participating. We want more of that.
Who else is here? Like, don't be
a fan watcher.
A lurker.
Be a lurker.
We're not scary. Like, we're not gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And if you can take small actions like this and follow this, it makes following other things that are more important to get results easier.
Absolutely. And more likely to actually do them.
Right. Like if you're like, well, I'm not going to comment, then like you're probably not going to take this advice anyway.
Right.
And that's just the truth of it. Like, I don't mean to be insulting, but we know what we know. We've been coaching and leading people for, combined like 20 years. You a little longer.
A little bit.
So I need to hear I'm ready for number 2. I need at least one person to step up, show some leadership, and tell me that they're ready for number 2. There's also a delay, so we got to give people, maybe cut them a little slack.
Yeah.
I know there's a delay in live streaming.
Someone just subscribe to your channel.
I know who that is. That's Jess. Sharon says she's ready. Amy says she's ready.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
All right, guys, we'll keep going. So key number 2 is we want to tell you guys exactly what causes burnout and how you can avoid it. Kate says she's ready. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. And this one, number 2, is super serious, right? Because again, burnout is a real risk in this business. Again, because it is such a low barrier, people kind of either get started super slow, right, which isn't good, or they get started super fast, and there's a lot of action and motion, but a lot of times it can lead to burnout. So
right. So then the things that lead to burnout a lot of times is your expectation. So the first kind of expectation is false expectations. So false expectations would be like you expect things to sell super quickly. Like,
and we hear this a lot. I listed an item today, Wednesday. I listed an item Monday. It hasn't sold yet.
Right.
If you've ever had that feeling, let us know. What's going on with something's wrong with the internet. I listed an item today at noon and it hasn't sold yet.
You're like checking back every 15 minutes, has it sold?
That's called that's one version of false expectations.
The other thing is like you expect wow, life-changing, full-time income type of results from a week's worth of work. We tell people in 0 to 60 all the time, it takes 90 days of consistency to really see where you're at, to see the results of what you're putting in. Yeah. If you give me 90 days of consistency, I can tell you almost pinpoint exactly what isn't working in your business. But if you give me 2 weeks of consistency, I don't have a lot to go on because the results haven't been in yet. Which
is one of the reasons, and our students know, like we're always experimenting, trying new things. And once we see something that's working, we'll report back, hey, this is working, give it a shot, or do it like this, don't do it like that. But we don't do that until we have enough compilation of time and consistent repeating doing it to know. Otherwise we're just guessing. So we have a lot of people who come in and they say, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and they get started and they list 2 items 3 days a week for 1 week. And then they say this thing ain't working, or
why haven't I sold anything yet?
And they start second guessing themselves and their decisions, and it starts to become like a downward spiral.
Right. So the next one is no expectations.
Right, like you're just winging it.
Right, like the mentality of like, oh, well, I'm just gonna post and I'll see what happens. Like we'll see what happens. Like if you have that kind of mentality and there's no intention behind it, you're also not gonna get results. And it's gonna cause burnout because even though you're not hustle, and like working your hardest, you're just kind of being, I don't even want to say open-minded because normally open-minded is a bad thing, but just kind of like, we'll see what happens. Like that kind of mentality, you're going to get burnt out because there's no intention behind it. You have no goals set. You have no structure, no foundation.
Right. You want to be purposeful. So when we got started, again, our goal was to replace our dwindling MLM and freelancing income, to replace that first, to get it stabilized, to get it consistent, to pay off some little debts that we had and start going in the right direction, right? Start an emergency fund. That was kind of our plan. So, but a lot of people, they just get started because they know they need something. I need a little bit more money. I need to get rid of some of this debt, but they don't have any expectations, right? And if you don't have any expectations like goals, how could you ever have the possibility of achieving them, right?
Yeah, so you want to be intentional. It's going to cause burnout. You're just going to do this thing part-time, and you're not going to see the results from it when you have that kind of mentality. It's just, I don't know how else to say it. It's just, it doesn't work like that. Like, there's certain things where people will ask us questions in the Facebook group, and it's really one of those things. Like, someone had asked me, I have like 600, maybe 60. 600 seems like a big number.
Yeah.
I have it was either books or DVDs or something. Should I sell them individually and comp and see which ones are the most valuable, or should I lot them up? And I'm like, it's up to you. Like, that's dealer's choice. There's a lot of stuff that's dealer's choice, but the way that you approach your business has to have the right expectations, or else you will burn out. So no expectations, false expectations are going to burn you out every single time, guaranteed. That's why as many people said that they wanted to be here today, there's less people, because they didn't set the right expectation for themselves that I'm going to be here because I'm going to either rearrange my schedule, I'm going to take the time for myself to be here. They didn't set the right expectations when they intended to join this live stream.
Right. So the next cause to burnout is overloading yourself. Mm-hmm. And we see this a lot, especially with our students, because these guys and gals, they've now committed to creating a full-time income from this business. They're going all in, and they have the tendency, like we did actually too, to just go hard, right? And but what happens, that can have some ill effects, and we're going to talk about those today. So overloading, to give you some examples, would be
listing 50 items in a day.
Right. Like, let's say you get the bug. You finish hearing us today, and you say, you know what, tonight I'm not going to sleep. I'm not even going to sniff the bed until I list 25 or 50 items. Mm-hmm. And guess what? You may do it. You may stay up until 4 a.m. till your eyes are bleeding red.
So, I've stayed up where, like, I'm listing on my phone and I'm falling asleep and I'm hitting the wrong buttons on my phone in the item specific. So then I'm like, wait a second, this isn't a scoop neck, this is a V-neck. But it's because I was literally, like, dozing off and my finger was, like, tapping the wrong button.
Right. And what happens, the downside of doing that, while it's great to have that Herculean effort, the downside is you're so spent and you're so wasted as a result. But guess what? The next day, how many items are you think you're likely to list? You're probably not even want to think about or smell your business.
You don't even want to open the eBay app.
Because it took so much out of you, right? So what happens is you listed 50 items one day, and then for the next 29 days, you didn't even touch your business, right? And that's the worst thing you could do. So again, that's a really big contributor to people being burnt out, overloading themselves, versus doing what?
Versus, like in this example, you list 50 in a day and then you don't list anything for 29 days. The person who lists one a day for 30 days has less listings, is going to have better success than the person who gets burnt out, which is why it's so important for you guys to overcome this in your reselling journey, because the more you overload yourself, and it doesn't even have to be 50. Sometimes overloading yourself can be 15. Right.
If you don't have a lot of time, or you have all these responsibilities and roles tugging on you, but you're like, you know what, I got to get this done. It's the same thing. It's you can change the numbers, but you guys understand the point, right? So what we like to teach is, you want to think about this business, and the way we've been successful is because we approach it like a series of sprints instead of this wild blood, sweat, and tears blitzkrieg, right? So what I mean by that is that you want to turn this business into a series of successful sprints that turn into a winning marathon. What do I mean?
So a sprint would be, are we talking about this later, or is this now?
This is
okay. Sorry, we have outlines, guys, so we don't get on too many tangents. We have like some bullet points we're trying to follow. Because we skipped this one.
Yes. So we can come back to that.
Okay. But so
a series of sprints.
So a sprint would be what we consider is 5 listings. You can do 5 listings in an hour at a very sustainable rate. So think of one sprint as 5 listings, and you do that once a day, and maybe a Pomodoro, which is a 25-minute timer where you don't answer your calls, you don't do anything else, for 25 minutes. And you can look into that if you want, Pomodoro timer. But that is going to help you sustain your business. And if you want to go and you want to do 7 or 8 here and there, you always want to come back to that DMO, that bare minimum of, let's say it's 5 a day. For me, it's 10 a day. For you, it's 15, right?
15, yeah.
because of different things,
different goals, different like we just talked about, different expectations we have.
Right.
But we have expectations, so now we set corresponding. What are you trying to say? What am I trying to say?
Goal to attach to your expectations.
Yeah, we have expectations, so now we have corresponding DMOs. I'm sorry.
I'm like, where are you going? So yeah, having a lack of DMO and not moderating your efforts over time is going to cause burnout. So you want to moderate your efforts. Like you want to have a hustle mentality in terms of I'm buying this stuff cheap or I'm sourcing it out of my home because I'm resourceful. You want to have a hustle mentality like that, and how much can I get for it? Like how much ROI can I squeeze out of this? But you also want to have a moderation mentality. So we live in a bit of duality in that way of we have a hustle mentality, not a we'll see what happens mentality, but we're also moderating our efforts over time and creating these mini sprints that are creating a marathon over time, which has allowed us to sustain ourselves in this business. Right. And have really consistent income from something that can be so inconsistent,
right? And
so cyclical,
yeah,
and seasonal.
Seasonal, yep. And the reason we say 5 is because yes, you can do less than 5. And like you said not too long ago, I would bank on the person who does 1 a day versus the person who does 30 in one sitting in a month. I'd rather have that person who does 1 a day. However, what we found through experience is that if you're serious about making this into something that can produce income for you, there's going to be some sacrifice, right? Mm-hmm. And anything much less than 5, it starts turning into the law of diminishing returns, right? So meaning you start getting into 1 or 2 a day, yeah, it's better than 0, right? But what we found is that magic number of listing 5 items a day, and just extrapolate that over 30 days. Well, now you have a meaningful business and store and inventory that you're growing. And as it continues to grow, your income grows with it.
Mm-hmm. So then the last thing that causes burnout is self-imposed stress.
Dangerous. That's dangerous.
So what we mean by that is relying on reselling too early. I recently had someone come to me in July, which is typically the slowest month of the year.
Dry July.
And they told me the most they had ever made from reselling was $500 in a month. And that was gross sales revenue. And they wanted to make $1,500 profit this month. You are going to get burnt out if you expect, going back to where I guess it's all coming back to expectations, if you expect reselling to produce something it never has in the slowest month after you haven't put in those 90 days, you're putting undue stress on yourself. So what I spoke to that person and coached them through was, well, how about we set the goal, if you've done 500, let's set the goal for like 750 to 1,000 this month. And what other skills do you have, or what other ways can you make up the difference if you need an extra $1,500 this month? Because I also want you to have sustained success. I could say, yeah, like let's go all in and do it. But here's the reality. Do you have the extra cash? If you need $1,500 extra, do you have the extra cash to go from $500 in sales to really, that'd be like $2,500 in gross sales, to 5x your results? Do you have the cash available to invest in your inventory? Which is why it's so much better to grow over time, moderate the way that you grow your business.
And give yourself that 90 days to scale up, to ramp up. Right. Otherwise, like you said, you're going to be hard on yourself, you're going to be hard on this business, and the resulting effect is going to be you're going to get burned out and probably walk away from something that can really, really help you out in a lot of ways. And
you're going to end up feeling like you failed when you're relying on reselling too early on in the business. So like you wouldn't open a restaurant today, Wednesday, and expect to be living off of whatever revenue your restaurant is making next week, or even for the next month. Like if you started a restaurant today, which probably was several $1,000s of investment, you're probably not, I don't know, several thousand is
tens of thousands.
It's a very low number. I mean, I think the average, it costs like, did a project in my business degree on this. I think it costs like $30,000 to start just a food truck, not even a whole restaurant.
I don't say that's low. How many years ago was that?
No comment. A long time ago. So, you would give your restaurant.
I'm sorry. So while we're talking about this, I'd be just curious because we have a lot of people on who have a lot of different backgrounds and probably experiences. If you've ever tried a traditional business, right? Let us know. Brick and mortar, food truck, it doesn't matter. But if you've ever tried another kind of business, let us know how much money that you may have invested or heard that you would need to invest, right? Because again, when you put it in perspective, this business starts looking better and better, but you have to still respect that it has some sacrifices, right?
So yeah, you wouldn't expect to live off of whatever business you're opening on a Wednesday and expect in the next 30 days for it to be profitable enough for you to live on and pay all of your bills. Like, we didn't expect that. I was still taking on freelance clients when we started reselling. And even when we started bringing in over $1,000 a month, I was still taking on freelance clients. Like, it wasn't until our reselling business surpassed. So in the early days, like I had our freelance income, we had our network marketing income, and then we started reselling. And we started making about $1,000 pretty early on, like a lot of our students, no surprise. So that $1,000, it wasn't until reselling was making more than all of those combined on its own that we dropped those other forms of income.
Right.
And then we created new forms of income because we're really big on multiple streams of income. So whether your main stream of income is a 9-to-5 job or you're a stay-at-home mom, you're just looking to contribute more, or you have a business and you need maybe to diversify for more stability. There was a business we were looking at, and the winter was the slow months for that business. And we were going to buy this business. And for us, it worked out perfectly because the summer was the busy time. And so it balanced out with the exact opposite busy times and slow times for reselling. So maybe you have a business like that where the winter is slow and the summer is really, heavy. Like, let's just say an ice cream shop on the East Coast, for example. Like, this would be a perfect way to balance out your income throughout the year. Or a tax person. We have a lot of people that do taxes.
A lot of accountants, taxes.
Yep. So just some examples of things that might help you to not rely on reselling too early. So going back to expectations, having realistic expectations. So I think that's everything for what causes burnout. So false expectations, no expectations, overloading, a lack of DMO, and self-imposed stress.
Absolutely. And if you guys have dealt with or are dealing with any of those, again, this is the time and the place to comment on it so we can kind of, all talk it through to get to that next level and leave that behind.
Which of those 5 is your favorite that you're like most excited to avoid or that you've fallen into? Have you ever overloaded yourself? Have you ever, did you start reselling with no expectations? Like, tell me where you guys are at just so we can have a good idea. And then we'll move on to key 3. As we drink our drinks. What are you drinking? Water?
Drinking water out of a stainless steel mug I got reselling. How about that?
I like it.
And I'm drinking coffee out of a very nice German mug I got.
But you got yard sailing, huh?
Yard sailing.
All right, guys. So what's your favorite? There must be some sort of delay.
It wouldn't be favorite. Wouldn't it be there?
Well, sorry. What have you guys?
Vivid.
What stands out the most to you? What do you think is the most valuable? What have you experienced out of false expectations, no expectations, overloading, undue stress, self-imposed stress? I like the way you worded that. And then like a lack of DMO. What do you guys relate to the most? What have you experienced? I don't know how long the delay is. The delay must be like 2 minutes or something. False expectations.
Okay.
I hear that.
Awesome. So.
All right. So we'll move on to key number 3, which is how you can stack the odds in your favor and seize control of things that seem out of your control.
Right.
I love this topic.
Yes. And we're big fans of the concept, the theory, the mindset, the mantra of, there's a lot of things in life that we can control, but there's a whole lot more that we can't control. And the people we find are the most successful, right, are the people who, work hard at the things they can control. They are okay with the things they can't control, and they're smart and wise and developed enough to know the difference, right? And
that's like that prayer that's really popular.
Yeah.
God, I know it off the top of my head. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Absolutely.
So it's really good to know the difference here. And this is a really interesting thing. So we might kind of trigger you or make you a little uncomfortable when we're talking about this third key, but I just want you to have an open mind. If you really can't get on board with some of the stuff that we talk about in this one, just keep listening, like set that aside and just take what you can get out of it and take what applies to you, because not everything that we say will apply to you. Like, that's not going to be the case, which is why we cover multiple different points to help people that are at different points, because all of you guys are unique. And we're not just talking to any one person, we're talking to dozens of people at a time. I mean, our group actually just crossed 400 people. So
good stuff. And thanks, Jess, for letting us know. And I totally remember when you guys started. So that's a crucial thing. I know, and it's a problem and it's an issue a lot of people face. So
yeah, I think overloading is probably one of the most common from our students. They get really excited and then they just overload themselves. And so it kind of seems counterintuitive when we're like, slow down. Like, they're like, no, I'm excited. I really want this to happen right now. And we're like, yeah, if you really want it to happen right now, slow down. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just not going to do the work that is required, which is, consistency. Cool. So here we go with key 3. The reality is, when you are doing this alone, Jared and I run our business, all of our businesses together. When you're doing it alone, it's a much higher likelihood that you'll second guess your decision and you will burn out and give up. You have no support. You have no one.
Right. Other than that voice you have, that voice that's always talked about on your shoulder, that's kind of second guessing you or being negative, or you're going to fail at this too. Like, this ain't going to work. That
you're
voice.
Spending all this time doing this, and
yeah, quite often, unless you put yourself in a circle of other people doing it, that's the only other voice that you're going to have, and typically that's one that doesn't encourage you, because our protective mind is wired to basically keep us from harm.
Yeah, the animalistic side of our brain.
Right. So we're wired to avoid pain. We're wired to avoid anything associated with pain, right? So if that's failure, if that's disappointment, if that's frustration, our minds are wired to literally shield us from that. And that's the reason, if you've ever thought about having a situation where you talked yourself out of something, or you didn't do what you should do, that's probably why, right? And it's a fascinating subject. I really get into the way that we're wired, because we're still animals, right? At the end of the day. But if you ever find yourself talking yourself out of something you should do, it's typically that part of your brain trying to protect you, but typically works against you in a lot of ways.
Right. So we have to be like elevated humans and talk to ourselves. And a lot of time it's like this scared, like smaller version of yourself. So if you have like the highest level version of you, like the best version of you, your best self, as people say. And then you have like your negative stinking thinking. You almost need to like channel into your higher self and like calm that voice on your shoulder. Like, look, this is going to work. I'm doing it.
I got support. I got guidance. I've got someone who I follow. You can kind of quell that negative voice.
Right. So you can't just listen to the voice. You have to talk back to it and stand up to it. But if you're doing this alone, it's just a higher likelihood, and that's something that is out of your control. You can't control whether your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, kids, friends, neighbors, parents, cousins, whoever is in your circle, you can't control. Or maybe you have no one. Like, maybe you're just a hermit. Like, I would probably be a hermit if I wasn't married, which is fine. Like, you might not have anyone, and that's okay too. But you can't control that. You can't control what any of those other people do. You can only control yourself. And if you're controlling yourself and you're standing up and you're taking action by starting this business, by listing things, you're stepping forward, but you can't control what other people do. And you're taking that action on your own. And it is going to get harder to stay in the game, especially when things come up and you fail. And because you're trying things new that you've never done, you will fail. You will make mistakes. Our students make mistakes all the time. I think half of the Facebook group that we have with our 0 to 60 students is like, I did this, like, what should I do? Or this is what this person said to me, I don't know what to say back. Or I made this mistake, how do I fix it? I think that's honestly half of the thing. And then it's us, Jared and I, and everyone else in the group jumping in to support that person and say, look, here's what you can do. Here's what you can say verbatim, copy and paste this into your message. So we're getting a little off tangent here. We, as in the royal we, I. So you can't control that you're doing it on your own. What you can control is the environment that you put yourself in and the support that you reach out for. So no different than in Key 1, when we talked about asking for help, asking for support. Tell the people around you, hey, this is really hard for me. This is what I think is going to happen if I do it. I need you to support me in this way, and communicate that to that person.
Right. And some other things you can't control. Again, so the things you can't control, don't let them defeat you. So some other things you can't control. Who buys your stuff, right? I listed something on Monday, it didn't sell yet.
Right. Or like controlling
that.
Whether someone who has 0 feedback or 400 or 4,000 feedback buys. Like, you can't control
that. Right.
That
So
either.
who buys your stuff? When they buy your stuff? How long it may take to sell? Those are all part of the business that we just have to accept, right? You know, our job isn't to control all those things. It's just to put ourselves in position to have the numbers work in our favor. So again, I want you guys to remember the things you cannot control. Like I don't care, the best reseller in the world, they can't control that either. So remember that. Once you remember that, you don't let that work against you.
Right. So some things to help you stack the odds in your favor, if that's what you can't control, is you can get an accountability buddy. So you can team up with someone. Maybe you have you meet someone outsourcing that you find out is a reseller, or you meet someone in Flippin' Freedom and you guys comment and you find out you're in the same area. And you don't have to be in the same area of the country. I know several of you are, though. You can create an accountability where you guys check in with each other. A lot of our students didn't know each other before and are friends on Facebook, and they support each other, and you can see like certain people that like gravitate to and support each other. And that's great, you know, the kind of like friendships and relationships and connections that are born from both groups that we have.
Absolutely.
So that's what you can control. You can control also the number and the quantity and the quality of the listings that you put up.
You can control how and when you source, right? The level of your sourcing, and that's one of the things that you'll hear us talk a lot about. You know, the whole where you need valuable, like that for us had revolutionized our business, and we haven't looked back since.
Right, like an example of a way that we probably could improve, because we're honest with you guys, we're not perfect. Remember when we went sourcing on a Monday and we were super, like Monday morning at one time? Recently?
Monday evening.
Monday evening? Anyway, we went on a Monday, and we normally don't go sourcing on a Monday, and we were like, wow, there's like, it was just really nice. Like the selection there, the amount of people was less versus Sunday. And we even know on Sundays, if we show up at 8 or before, because our bins open at 7, even 8:30, there's a certain level of expectation of like the parking, because we can pull up to the parking lot and tell how crowded it's going to be inside, less crowded than if we show up at noon. So there are things that we can control, talking about when we source. Also, how good you market your things. Like Jared is a master marketer in general, and he applies, and this is something that I think not enough people do. We're reselling, yes, but you can still apply traditional business, traditional marketing concepts into reselling. You kind of transform them a little bit, but he applies. You basically create like a brochure for your listings that take people on an experience. If you ever looked at a good brochure and you're flipping through it and you love it and there's all these details and you read them, like that's what he's creating with his listings. So you can control how you market your listings.
Nice. Another thing, going back to things you can't control, and we hear this a lot, and I want to address this now, and let me know in the comments if this is you. Let's say you live somewhere where there aren't any, goodwill outlets, as you hear us refer about a lot. So whether you're in Salt Lake City, Utah, or I don't know, Poughkeepsie or something like that, and there are none, well, you may hear us talk about it because, again, for us, that just happens to be our favorite source right now. But it wasn't always. We got started before we even knew about it, right? So the point is, you can't control if you live 3 hours away from one. Mm-hmm. But I promise you, drop us in any city, anywhere. I don't care how far from this source or this person, that place or that place, and we will still succeed because of the skills and the tools and the strategies. So you can't control where you live or what's near you, but what you can control is, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to get my ass up on Saturday and Sunday mornings. I'm going to hit up the yard and estate sales. Mm-hmm. I'm going to check out if I can get off, lunch break. I might go check out a auction, a storage auction, or I'm going to let everybody I know at work and my family. Hey, I'm doing this reselling now to get out of debt or save up for a vacation or to help out my son, daughter, whatever. Do you have any items around the house that you're not using anymore that you could donate to me? Right. Like you can control that, right? But so again,
and it doesn't have to be the Goodwill outlets, which we call the bins, because a lot of our students have a lower acquisition price. Like we pay 80 cents on average for stuff at the bins. Some of our students have average acquisition costs of 50 to 60 cents.
Yep. And honestly, a lot of the yard sales we went to in the beginning, once we learned how to negotiate and talk to people, and some what we like to call magic words, we were getting things for less than we're getting them now, right? So again, there's you can't use that one as an excuse, right? You can't. Yeah. But again, knowing what you can control, knowing what you can't, if this falls into things you can't necessarily control, but it doesn't really matter to the success of your business.
Mm-hmm. So going back to what you can control and starting having an accountability buddy, you can put that in place. You can get creative with the things or the places that you're sourcing. Mm-hmm. The only drawback to an accountability partner, and this is really important for if you're doing this alone, is that sometimes people can be flaky, or sometimes like they're human too. And so if you just have two of you guys that are relying on each other, it's harder for the other person to compensate. And like law of relationships, like there's going to be seasonalities, and one person is always going to have to pick up the slack for another. Right. And it can work, but it's harder to get it to work.
So what's even better is a network, right? In MLM, they said you want to build a net that works. A cheesy way of saying that a network is even larger, it's even stronger, it's even more inclusive. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that we've done in building Flipping Freedom, is to have a network of people who are all kind of new or aspiring resellers, and then also with 0 to 60, a network of people who say, you know what, I'm not playing around with this. This is where I'm going. And when you put yourself in a network, right, you're only going to kind of mask your weaknesses and your things that you're self-conscious about.
Right, and you can lean on other people's strengths. And you're going to lean on other people's strengths.
So that's kind of the best of both worlds.
Right. So we really think that iron sharpens iron when it comes to having a support network. And this is kind of like birds, like they carry the weight for each other. Like there's a lot to learn from birds, us, Jared and Howie bird, but also like literal flying birds. Because if you look at most birds, geese especially, they fly in a V formation, and the goose in front is working the hardest. They are the ones that are breaking the.
You're kind of cutting the wind, or breaking the air.
Yeah, I thought you had like a fancy, because cars. What is it? Like they're creating the aerodynamics.
It's called the leading edge as far as aeronautics, but they're breaking the wind. They're basically going through the air first.
Right.
So they're experiencing the most resistance.
And they're parting the way for all the other birds, who are parting the way for the birds behind them.
If you guys are watching it, I'm fascinated by animals. I think it's a huge lesson to be learned. Did you guys ever know that, or ever see a pack of birds flying and see the formation and ever wonder why or ever know why? Mm-hmm. I'd just be curious, just because it's something when you realize why they do it, you're like,
Yeah, just
No
comment
way.
yes or no. Let us know you're still with us.
All right.
So the bird in front is carrying the most load, and what happens with geese is that they rotate, or in our case, us birds, we rotate for you guys, so you guys get to be like our flock, if you will.
Wingman.
Flock wingman. And you get to take advantage of the fact that Jarrett and I are switching that role of leading, and you get to experience less resistance because we're cutting through where you're trying to go.
Right.
And then geese also and birds also have, looking for yes or no comments from you guys on whether or not you knew that about birds. They also have a no bird left behind mentality. So if a bird gets sick or stuck or hurt, 2 birds will fall out of formation with the hurt bird until they are recuperated and ready to rejoin, and then they all join back
in their
together.
Little mini V.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So super important lesson to learn from birds, and we hope you guys learned some lessons from us birds on the way, which kind of brings us to our 0 to 60 program, because that's exactly what we do in 0 to 60. We are your leaders. We've been where you guys are trying to go. And when you join the 0 to 60 flock, when you join to 0 to 60, you get to fall in formation. So if you think about it, Jarrett and I are at the front of the V. I didn't know this about the formation, or did know about the formation, not about the sick birds.
It's fascinating, Kate. Super fascinating.
Yeah, so Jarrett and I are kind of like the lead birds. We've been where you're trying to go. And then you have our students like Amy and Amber, who've already created really cool results for themselves,
Vicky,
that are like right behind us, and they're
Brittany.
cutting resistance for you. Yeah, and then like each layer of or round of people that join 0 to 60 kind of create this bigger and bigger flock that we can all fly together.
And the whole point, guys, is to go further, faster, safer, right? And I have so much love and respect for Amy, I think Amy's hopefully still watching, and Vicky and Brittany and Amber. All of these guys, they took a chance on us when there were no success stories other than us, right?
They were first students.
We had no one in our group. There were 10 people in our Facebook group, and they saw enough in us, they trusted enough, they got enough out of us to actually commit. And now their success stories are so empowering, they're so exciting, and now you can rely on them in addition to us. And like you said, that's a great way of putting it. We're literally building layers of success that you can kind of scoop right on in and tuck on in and float. No matter what your background is, no matter what your home situation is, no matter where you live, it's a great network that's being built here, and we want everyone who sees it for themselves to kind of get their position.
Yeah. So we just want to know, would it be okay with you guys if we spent just a few minutes talking about 0 to 60? We've shared with you guys the 3 keys to avoiding failure and burnout, and we want to offer you guys, if you're interested in hearing kind of a little bit more about our 0 to 60 program and something really special we have going on for July. This is the last day in July, so we want to make sure you guys know about it. So comment yes if you're cool with us spending maybe like 10, 15 minutes on it, and then we'll answer any questions you guys have about anything. You can ask us personal questions or reselling related.
And while we wait for that answer to let us know if it's okay to go a little bit deeper, going back to accountability, I find that that's one of the most, if not the most important element in a successful reselling business, because it's easy to let yourself down, right? We all let ourselves down every day, right? I got up this morning, I said, damn it, I'm going to go work out before I do anything else. And guess what I did? I let myself down. I said, well, let me see if Howie's going to join me, or let me send these messages first, or let me do this. Guess what? It's 4 o'clock. I haven't worked out yet, right? So we're used to letting ourselves down. It's easy. It's part of life. But what happens is when you put yourself in that network of people who are all going in a certain direction, it's a lot harder to let down other people who are holding you accountable. So you say, you know what, this is my expectations, this is my DMO, or this is what my DMO is going to be. It's harder to let down other people because we're all looking back saying, okay, well, come on now, right? Come on, Kate, you say you want to do X, Y, and Z. you're going to do X, Y, and Z to make it happen.
Yeah,
What's
Sharon,
up?
where are you at? I didn't hear your weekly goals yet. Where are you?
Yep. How'd you do today? You know, I know you said you had a meeting or you had to work late, you had a soccer game, but you know, so what we found and it's been proven now dozens of times with our students is the fact that accountability is worth its weight in gold because it helps us all keep moving. It picks us up when we don't feel like doing it, when it's easy to let ourselves down. You know what? My group here, my crew, they're going to be expecting me to follow through on what I said or did.
Right. Cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about 0 to 60, then we'll get it down. Any questions that you guys have? So for those of you guys who don't know, maybe you've been hiding under a rock, 0 to 60 is our program that shows you how we went from $0 in reselling income to 60K in our first year. It's a 6-module video course, and it's stripped out week by week, so you get one new module every week. Week 1 is jumpstart your reselling journey. Week 2, so that's like all the things you need foundational in place to really kick it off like a business. Week 2 is light up your business with listings. So you see our exact listing process that we use. So you see our shooting setup. You see all the different ways to shoot things from flat lay to mannequins to hanger style. Also how to set up a lighting kit. We show you how we set up our lighting so that we get really nice photos, which helps a lot regardless of which shooting method you choose, which displaying your clothes. How to
prep clothes, right? Sometimes, I mean, probably a vast majority of clothes we have, because we focus on clothes, if you haven't figured it out yet, don't need to be clean, don't need us taking the time and the energy and utilities and money to clean them. So again, we talk and actually show you by video all of the do's and don'ts and things that we do. Another one, module 3, to me is probably one of the most valuable. That's called strategic shipping. Because obviously one of the 3 pillars of an online reselling business is sourcing, listing, and drum roll please, shipping, right? You got to get that thing you just took money for, you got to get that to the buyer. Right. And I should say, and what happens is through doing this for the better part now of 2.5 going on 3 years, we've learned some very, very valuable tools and tips and tricks to shipping, to the point where we estimate that we always look at our numbers and we pick up several $100s, close to $1,000 a month, just in strategic shipping, right? Knowing how to save money, shipping, knowing where we can mark up certain things. And guys, that alone could really revolutionize your business. So strategic shipping is an awesome model, honestly, worth everything, because if you've ever shipped an item and made a mistake, and again, I'd be curious to let us know in the comments, have you ever shipped something and messed up or overcharged yourself or not charged enough and you had to cancel the order because I can't afford to ship this thing for $20, right? So again,
when they paid 15 or something.
So strategic shipping is module 3, and that's huge.
Yeah. Module 4 is fueling foundation. So this is going back and laying a little bit more solid foundations for your business now that you got started. We actually ordered the modules in the way that you'll encounter them and build. So that's why we cover shipping in the course before sourcing, because if you're selling out of your home when you get started, you're going to need to ship before you go sourcing.
Absolutely. And what we teach you guys, again, because we're not out to get money, right? We want success stories. We want Amy and Vicky's and Jackie's. We want, so many of those, because we feel good to empower people. So what we teach is what we did, which is we got resourceful. We went around the house. You guys may have heard this if you went through the challenge, and we sold everything that wasn't nailed down that we didn't need anymore, right? And for most of you guys who are watching, if you're serious, doing this alone can create several hundred, if not several $1,000s before you ever go outside to source anything, right? But you're still gonna have to ship it. So if you're following what we're teaching, you're going around your house getting resourceful, and then the next day, or hopefully within the next couple of days, now you're like, okay, great, I got a sale, I got to ship it, now what? So you have that early on.
Yeah, then module 5 is savvy sourcing. So we talk about how to get really savvy with sourcing, whether you source at thrift shops or Goodwill outlets, whether you do storage auctions. We talk about how to negotiate at yard sales.
We talk about how to get your friends, family, everybody you know should know about your new business. And for us and for a lot of our students now, it's a great source of free inventory, right? I mean, and a lot of times you're doing someone a favor by taking stuff off their hands that they probably had sitting in the corner somewhere because they didn't feel like hauling it to the nearest Goodwill drop-off location. So it's a win-win.
And then week 6 is best business practices. So you learn about something called the velocity of money. You learn about sending split the difference messages, which we've covered in the challenge. There's all sorts of kind of miscellaneous stuff and just general best business practices in there.
Shout out to STDs. If you've ever sent an STD, let us know in the comments.
So the total value of the course is $14,997. And some of our students have, just from those modules, have had crazy results. So like Brittany, who's in full-time engineer, and she's a mom of 2.
She's in Utah too, Sharon. We have one of our first students, Brittany, and her husband Sergio. They live in Utah.
Yeah. She had her highest sales month of $1,850 in her 3rd month while she was working 10 hours a week.
In her business, not in her job. She works full-time engineer.
She works full-time, and then in her reselling business, she was working 10 hours a week. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So she's working full-time already as an engineer, doing real serious stuff that
she's a civic engineer, so she doesn't she design roadways and designs and stuff, heavy duty stuff.
She actually told us that she's working on a road here in the city we live in. Yeah. So working 10 hours a week in reselling as a full-time, with a full-time job and a mom of 2, make $1,800 in her 3rd month reselling, which is huge. Amy,
she's one of our favorite stories. Again, one of our first students, got started doing reselling primarily to fund a trip that she had promised her son and her husband. And like a lot of us, we put off travel, we put off a lot of things just because the money's not there, and we can't or don't want to go into debt doing it. Mm-hmm. So Amy started her reselling journey with us largely to fund a trip to Disney, which we've, any of us who've been to Disney, we know that something that can stick with you for the rest of your life, the memories.
Yeah, and she was, just from what I remember correctly, or I hope I'm remembering correctly, it was less than a year away. I want to say it was like 10 months away, and she just wanted to fund the trip within those 10 months. I think she funded the trip in like 2 or 2.5 months, and then was able to use all the money that she was making in between then to fix up her house so that she can sell her house and flip it for a profit, move to her dream location. And because they're moving to their dream location, she's leaving her job, but she's going full-time with reselling.
Yes,
so that she can be there for her son even more.
That's an amazing story. So if you're watching this and you can see that or something like that for yourself, again, this is a great vehicle and a great program to take advantage of to make that happen. Go ahead.
And then Jackie, she's a single mom. She works full-time as an accountant.
Corporate accountant.
And within her first 58 days, she joined 0 to 60 right at the end of May, beginning of June. And in 58 days, had $2,000 in sales as a single mom working full-time.
Absolutely. So, and again, at this point, we have dozens of success stories. Mm-hmm. Those are just a couple of our very favorites, and maybe one or two will resonate with you. But again, it just means a lot to us. So as much as the lifestyle that we've created and we're creating for ourselves through reselling means to us, these success stories from people who have bought in, if you will, means just as much. And I mean that with everything, every bit of my heart and soul.
So who 0 to 60 works for? It works for people who are business owners. It works for people with 9 to 5, people who work part-time, people who are stay-at-home parents or have their own business. It's really designed for people who are brand new to reselling and really want to get off to a good start, and people who are making less than $1,000 a month consistently. Right. That's who we designed the program for.
So if you've been already, reselling for a while and you're making, spurts of money here and there, and it feels good when it comes in, you just want more of it, right? Well, again, that's who we designed it for, because it's probably, a list of things that you could be doing differently to increase that amount and make it consistent where you can actually depend on it and build a lifestyle around it, or pay off some debt around it, or count on it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people at this point say, well, that sounds great. And you might be thinking, but I just don't have the money to invest. That's why I'm reselling, because I need more money. And I want to put this in perspective for you, because I think this is really important. You only need to sell. We have a pay in full option, but we also have a payment plan for the program. And you only need to sell 8 to 9 items at an average sale price of $20. Our average sale price in our main store is $23. Most of our students.
Tell them what it is about
the
store that I'm the manager of.
In another store that we have, the average sale price is $29. And most of our students, like anyone who's ever told me what their average sale price was, is above $20. Like normally, anywhere from like $22 to $26 typically. We helped one of our students raise their average sale price from $15 to $18 to now they're consistently at $23 to $26.
And if you spend any time, if you spend time in any of these other groups, and there's a lot of other groups out there, but typically from observation, people are, they're and I don't mean to sound at all arrogant or cocky. It is what it is, but they're bottom feeding. Their average sale price might be $5 or $7, and that's great if you have a big enough system where you can do that 1,000 times a day. But most people don't have employees and warehouse space and everything else. So again, going back to law of diminishing returns, we didn't want to be in a business where we're doing something for $5 or $6 or $7 that takes the amount of time and effort that this takes.
So if you wanted to do 0 to 60 and money is an issue, I want to put this in perspective that you only need to sell 8 or 9 items a month at $20 average sale price in order to cover your payment. And that's after shipping and fees and everything. Like you sell 8 or 9 items at $20, your profit on those items in your bank that you can actually feel is going to be enough to cover the payment. So my question to you is, do you think that we could help you sell an extra 8 or 9 items a month? A month.
No, hopefully you guys have been on Tuesday. You've seen our stories and some of the things we share, items we found and sourced, and you've seen the challenge. So you should know that pretty clearly.
And honestly, I personally think that we can help you sell an extra 8 or 9 items a week, if not a day, if you're not having consistent sales, if you're not having daily sales. Like you can get to 8 or 9 items consistently per day.
Right.
So that's why we designed the payment plan the way we did. We wanted to make it affordable, that you could get in, learn this information, and within the first month, your proceeds and profits are covering the payment for the program. So now you're in and you're making a profit and making more money.
Right, absolutely.
Sharon asked, do you think someone can be successful selling other things other than clothing? Absolutely. Like if clothing is not your thing, you hate it, you just don't have any interest in it. Yeah, you can definitely sell other things. We just found that for the average person, from a space standpoint, from a ease of shipping standpoint,
from a risk standpoint, as in investing money to buy, to source it.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest ways to get started. But maybe you want to sell shoes, or you want to sell hard goods, or something else. Like, what do you sell, Sharon? Let me know.
Yeah, let us know.
Or what are you interested in selling?
That's a great question. Because we made money flipping everything from baseball pitching machines to China sets, to stuffed animals, to old VCRs. We've made money doing all of it. But we have some reasons that we share why we settle on clothing. From a repeatability standpoint, from a consistency, know it's going to get to its recipient in one piece without breaking, without this damn thing doesn't work. There's a lot of benefits to it. So,
and we've sold all sorts of things. So, whatever it is that you're selling, we've probably sold that exact thing or something very close to it.
And we have students who, they branch out a little bit and they try things other than clothing. And, a lot of what you're going to get from us, Sharon, is the method to the madness, right? So the method will probably translate to whatever. I'm just waiting on your response to see what else you may have tried or thinking about, but it'll probably translate. Matter of fact, we had something in our 0 to 60 group recently. We talked about selling and buying vehicles online. And I have some experience doing that very successfully too. And we talked about how our lessons in clothing translate into cars, specifically. So what did Sharon say?
Once been trying all kinds of things. My biggest profit is yard sale items like decorative pots, golf bags. Oh, we like selling golf bags. We just sourced a golf bag this week, right?
Yeah, this
Sunday.
Not even Sunday.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
So
so to answer your question, yes, you can sell all kinds of things. We lovingly call that the flea market approach, right? So the upside to that is that you can find all kinds of deals and bargains and flip those, and a lot of those things sell for huge money. I mean, we bought a really high-end golf bag at a yard sale at the end of a Saturday. They were trying to just get rid of stuff. And I think we bought this thing for $5, and I remember the one I'm talking about?
Yeah,
A tailor-made orange tailor-made golf bag, all the bells and whistles. We sold that thing for $90.
Yeah.
But the reality is, how often can I find golf bags, and in how much space this thing was enormous. It was like,
it was like a travel golf bag too. So it wasn't just like the one that you would take from your house to the golf course. This was like a one that you use for airplanes.
Yeah, you use actually ship it. So yeah, so absolutely. Again, the reason.
And it depends on what your goals are and like if that's what you like doing. Like if you find more enjoyment of that, going back to burnout, you're gonna burn out less if that variety is more exciting to you.
That drives you and motivates you.
Right.
So absolutely. You also say Sharon, I sourced a Bluetooth auxiliary adapter from China. Is that a new one? I'm assuming that's a new one. You found a new one to source?
And did it sell yet? Let us know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move right along. So when you're in 0 to 60, you're gonna get the 6-module video course. You're also gonna get the 2 challenges that we've done. We did a public challenge, the Flippin' Freedom 5-day challenge, which you get lifetime access to when you're in 0 to 60. You don't have like lifetime access to it. You have 10-day access to it when you're not in 0 to 60. So you get lifetime access to that. You also get the 0 to 60 Advanced Challenge, which we hosted in June.
Yep.
And that's a separate challenge that's only ever been available for 0 to 60 students, only will ever be available to 0 to 60 students. So you're gonna get that. And the benefit is that when you're in 0 to 60, you'll be able to shortcut your learning because you get to, going back to this, mirror match what we're doing. And it helped us so much because when we figured this out, we were able to stop being financially terrified. Like I used to wake up every day financially terrified, like scared to check my bank account, scared what bills were going to come up, scared about what phone call I was going to get that day. Scared
for the car making a noise that was a little bit unfamiliar, or a light coming on the dashboard. If you guys familiar with this at all, let us know if you can feel us on this one. But it was just, everything was like walking around all day holding your breath. Yeah.
And so I feel like the way that we Resell solved that for us and took that weight off my, like I feel it in my chest, like this heaviness. Even talking about it now, I can like go back to that feeling. And it just feels so much lighter and freer and easier once we understood how to resell the way that we do now. So those are the kinds of problems that 0 to 60 can potentially solve for you. And this is going to help you because now that you're mirror matching what we're doing, you can shave possibly months or even years off of your learning curve. So if you were to fumble around and try to do it the way that we've done it, like we have a lot of experience in business and we took our business experience and applied it to reselling. So that's why we were able to do what we did on our own in the first year. But not everyone has that experience. Not everyone has someone else to do it with. So it could potentially take you years to figure out how to resell successfully. And so it's just going to shorten your learning curve. It's going to cut down on your length to success. And it's also going to cut down on your mistakes because you're not going to have to make the same mistakes that we made. And then the mistakes that you do make, you're going to have support along the way in the form of our Facebook group that's just a private student group where you can ask questions, and our live support every Wednesday. Actually, in 30 minutes, we're doing our mastermind call. We do it every Wednesday where we get on Zoom. So everyone is on video, although you don't have to have your video on if you don't want to. But you can hear us and talk back to us versus just typing. And if you want to show us something that you sourced to help you comp it. Like I'm sitting there on my phone comping. Oh, I'm showing you, here are the comps for this. This is how I would title it. And Jared will be like, oh, this is the kind of bonus picture that I would attach to it. So those are the kind of things we're doing on our mastermind call. So I mentioned 2 other things that they're getting. So you're getting the 0 to 60 video modules. You're getting the 2 challenges, lifetime access to those. You're getting a Facebook group that's a student-only Facebook group where we do separate live streams and separate posts, separate content, separate accountability. Nothing that we do in the Flippin' Freedom group. Like you're getting extra support and extra guidance, and you're seeing more of our behind the scenes in our business. And
it could be the difference from making so many funny stories. Funny because we made these mistakes ourselves, but so many stories and anecdotes of students going from almost losing money on an item to kind of us putting our heads together, us giving our perspective and experience, and helping them turn that around and actually turn a $20 or $30 profit,
Right.
or finding an item, knowing how to market it, and selling something for $200 or $300, right? So that's where I really get excited about those opportunities.
Yeah. So the video modules, the challenges, the Facebook group, and the weekly Zoom calls. Those calls are hosted on Zoom. So, you might be afraid of going at it alone, and with 0 to 60, you don't have to. One of the things that we helped one of our students, Vicky, do is she had someone who just swore that she shipped the wrong information. And when someone is convinced of something, it's very hard to convince them otherwise. And so we helped her navigate this potentially disastrous situation in terms of her getting her first negative feedback and breaking her perfect feedback score, to what was a very heated message from her buyer, to neutralize it, turn it positive, and totally make the situation a non-issue. I mean, we did that all over our Zoom call one week, and then we followed up with her. So the benefit of joining now versus later on is as this grows, it's going to be harder for us to keep tabs on everyone. When we first got started, we had 4 students. It was super easy to keep tabs on everyone. And it continues to grow and grow, which is great because now you have a collective support network.
Right.
But it's also becomes harder for us to follow up on each individual question you ask. So the benefit of joining now versus later is more personal support and a closer relationship with us. We have a relationship with all of our students, 100% of them.
So it's the difference between if let's say you wanted tennis lessons. It's the difference between getting one-on-one instruction or being in a class of 30 people. Right. I mean, you can understand the level of interaction and intimacy that you can have with an instructor versus being just a number of whoever. And hopefully you guys, if you're in Flipping Freedom, which I'm assuming you are, if you're watching this, you can see the interaction and you could almost tell, even if you didn't know exactly who's in 0 to 60, you could kind of sort of tell who's in based on their experience, based on their 2
Tuesday comments.
Their 2 Tuesday comments, how they interact. You can kind of sort of tell, and that should tell you something.
A different Vicky student of ours posted on 2 Tuesday that she sourced a jacket that she ended up selling for $200. And her husband was super skeptical of her joining. And she was like, look, this is what I want to do. I don't want to have to go back to work. I want to figure this out. And he was really impressed that she ended up selling 1 jacket for $200. So going back to selling 8 or 9 items for $20, you can also sell 1 extra item a month with our guidance to cover the payment if you choose to do the payment plan. Although if you can pay in full, I would recommend it. I'll tell you why in a second.
Right. And then just to kind of answer Sharon's question without answering it directly, because the information is universal, one of the other things in joining our courses, we kind of teach, again, I talked about this a little bit, our method, right? So there's a method to the madness. Mm-hmm. So there's a reason if you have 200 items of clothing, there's one thing to have 200 items of clothing, there's another to have 200 rare, unique, valuable items, or knowing how to market them if they are rare, unique, and valuable. And that can make all the difference. One story we tell a lot is we sold a Patagonia sportswear t-shirt, literally a print t-shirt that came from an event in 2001, a fishing event. We sold this t-shirt for $110, whereas the exact same t-shirt sold for $7, right? So what's the difference between $7 and $110 is how I marketed that t-shirt.
Right.
And that's what our students absolutely love. They eat it up knowing how to market these very unique, valuable items. And considering you can buy them for the same price. I could buy this t-shirt or I could buy that Patagonia for literally the same price, but one is going to sell for unbelievably more money.
And for Sharon, it would help you a lot too, because you are selling things that are not at golf bags and decorative pots. So if you can market those, you can probably increase your average sale price or find even better items through it.
Great point.
So what did we talk about? We talked about some of the different things that are included. We talked about the payment plan. Mm-hmm. What else?
So we talked about a little bit about what people will get. What are some of the things that they won't get or they'll avoid by being in 0 to 60?
You'll avoid sourcing duds. We have a 0 to 60 sourcing guide. We have, you know what one of my favorite things is a sales estimating calculator. Mm-hmm. So you put in how many items you can list today, what your average sale price is, what your sell-through rate is, and we teach you how to calculate all of these metrics. And then it'll spit out how much you can expect to make in a month. Or you can say, well, I can only source or list this much, and it'll tell you how much you expect to make. So you can either do it by your goal, I want to make $3,000, and it'll tell you how much you have to list, or you can do it the other way. I can list this much. How much should I expect to make based on my numbers for my business? So we have a calculator. It's like automated.
Right.
It's so cool, guys.
Yep. We have a sourcing cheat sheet. So if you're out and about sourcing, you can literally look on your phone and know exactly, what can make you some serious money. So we try to just streamline as much of this wild, wild west of a business into something that can be very predictable and efficient for you.
So you'll avoid probably lost income and revenue from not marketing things correctly, from mistakes that you made, from having to accept returns for things that you didn't need to. That costs you money.
Not getting burned or scammed on some bogus return. Trust me, we've gone through that enough to know how to mitigate it and how to deal with it if somebody tries it. So if you're in a position where you have to take back one wrong item, I mean, you could be talking about potentially a $50 or $100 or more oops because you didn't know. So these are some of the things that you won't get or you'll avoid with this course because of the way we designed it.
Right. You know what's supposed to be on here?
What's that?
Is this button. So I'm gonna have to tell you guys where to go. Okay.
Okay.
So we talked about all the different things that are included. So the 6-module video course, the 2 challenges that you have lifetime access to. You get access to all the previous Q&A masterminds, plus you're gonna get into the Q&A mastermind. If you guys joined right now, you can get into the call in 20 minutes if you wanted to join the mastermind this week.
And what are we talking about tonight?
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I gotta pull it up. And then you're distracting me.
Sorry.
The mastermind, the Facebook group, the 6-module video course, the challenges, all the previous Q&As, the sales estimating calculator, the sourcing guide, all of the items that are included in 0 to 60, total value is over $20,000. And that's not what we charge, but that's the total value of everything. And I can say that with confidence because all of the stuff that we included made us $60,000 in our first year. So I would think the value is closer to $60,000, but we're calling it 20 because, and
there's a difference, price is what you pay, value is what you get.
Right. And you get to use this information year after year after year. So if all this course did for you and all this program did for you was help you get to a consistent $1,000 a month, it would pay for itself. It would totally be worth it.
Right.
Or if all it did was help you increase or double your sales from where they are right now, it would probably be worth it.
Or if it allowed you to shave a year or 2 years or 5 years off your learning curve. I mean, I come across people all the time. I've been selling for 14 years. They're not making any money. They're still doing it part-time or barely making any money, struggling. So if this can shorten your learning curve, well, would it be worth it?
Yeah. And we had 2 choices when we created it. We could have just created like a basic ebook and sold it on Amazon and maybe hoped to sell like thousands of copies. But we wouldn't have been able to offer like the one-on-one hands-on support that we do, like the Facebook group and the calls and everything. And that's not the kind of, like Jared said, we want to create success stories. We don't just want people just to know this information. We want them to implement what we teach,
right.
So that they can actually experience the results. That's what's important to us. So the other option was to make it a little bit of a higher investment because it takes a lot of work on our part to put everything together. But for that, you're going to get so much more out of it, and you're going to have a much higher likelihood of actually getting the results than just reading an ebook, which is collecting dust on your shelf health section.
Right, like one of our students, Robin. Now, Robin actually had some reselling experience. Matter of fact, she sells goods at a flea market, if I'm not mistaken.
She has a jewelry business.
A jewelry business, and has been at it for a while, but knew she wanted to take her business to a higher level to streamline it. And with her taking action and being committed in our course, actually, Robin was able to do over $1,000 in her first few weeks in the business.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just stories like that, man, I really, really love, and I love kind of bragging on them because it's just it's so cool.
So if you created the results that any of our students have created, I want to know, would it be worth it to you? If you created the results we created, would it be worth it to you? I think so. So we would feel good, honestly, about charging $2,000 any day of the week for this course because I have 100% complete confidence that you would make it back. But that's not even what we charge for the course. The course is $997 if you pay in full, or you can get started on a $99 payment plan. So you can literally get in the course for $99. Hence why I said you only have to sell less than 10 extra items a month in order to cover that payment. And we do have two guarantees actually. So a lot of people, if you've ever bought a program online, or if you've ever been to, I don't know, a paid seminar or college has no guarantee on any of their, in one class, I mean, don't even get me started. I was taking 5 classes a semester, so 10 classes a year minimum, and the classes are over $1,000. Like when you break out like what they charge per credit. But anyway,
per class, well.
Yeah, to take like art history and courses that you don't want to take, but they make you take to get your degree. So anyway, that's off topic. My point being, most of the time there's some sort of guarantee, right? So we have a 14-day money-back guarantee, super standard. You can get in the course, test drive it. If it's not a fit for you, you can get your money back.
For any reason. Yeah,
no questions asked. Yep. Money-back guarantee. But we wanted to offer a better guarantee, so you have that option, 14-day money-back guarantee. We also have a work with you guarantee, which means if you go through the 6 weeks and you go through all 6 modules and you haven't made your money back, we implement what we call a work with you guarantee, where we will personally work with you one-on-one to make sure that you make your money back until you make your money back. So there's literally no risk to you.
And that takes form that takes place in the form of a lot of things that we do that we wish we had in the beginning. For example, a store review, right? So we will literally look at your store, whether it's Kate or Sharon or Jess or Amy, we'll take our time together. We'll look at your store and we'll look at kind of 5 main criteria and give you advice, feedback, things to stop doing, things to start doing, ways to source better. And we've had multiple students now who comment just how big a difference it made and how they probably wouldn't have discovered it on their own and immediately turned around their business.
Yeah, the store reviews are a bonus, but if you haven't made your money back in those 6 weeks, then we'll do that for you, just included as part of the work with you guarantee. So yeah, I think that this is like honestly the best deal there is. Total no-brainer to get started for those prices, whether you pay in full. The reason that I was saying that if you can pay in full, I would. And for those of you guys who are online, you can go to flippinfreedom.com/TO260. So all one word, 0260 -promo, flippin, no G, flippinfreedom.com/0 to 60 -promo.
Type it in here?
Yeah, I'll type it in the chat. I don't know if you guys can see the chat, but I will type it in for you. There should be a button on your page, but you might not be able to see it because I can't see it on mine, so I think it glitched.
And this is for the July promo, so is it letting you do it?
No.
It's the website?
No. 1 second. Yeah, okay, it's not letting me do it.
Okay.
So let me try it from here. Okay, guys, so if you do pay in full, normally you get 3 bonuses anytime that we've offered 0 to 60. So you get 3 30-minute strategy sessions with us, which are valued at $750 based on what our coaching fee per hour is. So you get 3 30-minute strategy sessions to talk about any part of your business that you like. You also get a store audit that Jarrett was talking about, where we go into your store and we cover all of the main parts of your store that need to be reviewed and tell you how to improve your store so that you can accelerate your results. That's worth $1,500 because you should be able to make that back from the store review that we do.
Easy.
We actually have one this evening.
Oh, okay.
Yes, with one of our students, one of our newer students. And you also get a quick start care package, which includes super cool things. I'll show you a couple of the things. So in the 0 to 60 quick start care package, we'll ship you this exact shipping scale that we use. We ship you our favorite eBay tape. We ship you
pack of polymailers.
Yes. the exact poly mailers we use, because we wasted so much money on bad poly mailers where the adhesive wouldn't even work. So we don't want you to do that. We ship you a Scotty peeler, fabric fusion, tape measure, like everything you need for your business.
IKEA bag.
Yes, we love our IKEA bags, whether you go to the post office or use it for sourcing, which is mainly how we use ours, or for storing stuff. We even use it to store our stuff. So you can use it for any of those.
Yep, and you get all of that shipped to your door as a result of paying in full if you're in a position to do that. So
yeah, and that's valued at $197.
Yep, so everything you need to get started actually shipping, along with the strategic shipping module, you actually have mostly all of that come right to your door.
And that's included at no extra cost. So you're getting literally like over $2,000 in bonuses for paying in full. And then we have because Jared's birthday is in July, it was just 9 days ago. And today's the last day of July. So we have a promo ending tonight where if you get started, there's also 3 bonuses on the table. So if you take the payment plan, you'll get the first bonus, which is the W-4 training and tax strategy session that we're doing next Wednesday, August 7th. You'll get into that. And then you're also going to get the next level mastermind, which starts tomorrow. So you guys heard me talk about give me 90 days of consistency to really see where your business is at. We're coming out of what I termed this month as dry July. Most resellers call it summer slowdown, but it's really just July that's really slow for us. August is going to start to pick up, and then we're in Q3. We're heading into Q4, which is the busy time of the year for reselling. And so we want to make sure that you have the right foundations in place, because if you're doing the wrong activities, it's not going to make a difference. All the sales activity are going to be going to other sellers and not to you.
Yeah, you don't want to do more of the same if it's bad, or if it's costing you money or costing you profits.
Right. So we're starting a next level mastermind to help you get to your next level over the next 90 days. That starts tomorrow. You can't get into it if you are not in the group, like midnight tonight, basically. So if you take the payment plan, you're going to get those 2 July bonuses. Normally there's no bonuses with the payment plan. And then if you pay in full, you're going to get the 3 regular bonuses we talked about, the strategy session, the store review, and the quick start care package. You're going to get the 2 bonuses of the W-4 training and the next level mastermind, and you're going to get a 10-item mystery box. We're going to ship you 10 items that we personally sourced for you in your business, like high quality, good items that you can add into your store absolutely for free just for paying in full. Absolutely. So that's why I said if you can pay in full, I would. This is the best bonus package that we ever offered. We call our normal bonus package the bells and whistles bonus bundle. We like naming things. And you're also going to get the JV July promo as well, which ends tonight. Yep. Like it's 5 o'clock here, so 7 hours to make a decision. No pressure either way. But I say no pressure, but which isn't the right thing. There's no pressure. Like if it's not for you, it's not for you, and you know you can feel that. But if you're feeling drawn to it, if you feel like I really need the support, I need help, I need to know what they're doing and how they're doing it, so that I can mirror match for my business, then I would recommend doing it, because you do it today, there's never been a better bonus. And I don't know that we're going to offer this bonus again. Like we come up with these ideas and we're like, oh, let's do that. That sounds fun. And that sounds like it would help people. Like anything that we can do to convince you to help you help yourself. Because when you pay for something, there's you have to pay for experience and growth one way or the other. So Jared was talking about sacrifice. So you're either going to sacrifice time, and it's going to take you months or years to learn what we know. And I don't know that you ever will know what we know, because your experiences are different than ours. So you can take advantage of our life experiences and our business experiences and apply them to your business. And then you get to start from like a version 2.0 of yourself versus starting from version 0. So you're going to pay with time, or you can pay with money to shortcut your success. So whoever told you there's no such thing as shortcuts in life, lied. Yeah. The shortcut is pay for the knowledge that you need to get to the next level, because you can get money back. Money is a replenishable resource. And I know that every time I log into our PayPal account every day and I transfer the money out, and then the money comes back in because we sold new things. You can replace money. You can earn more money. You can make more money. We can't make money. That's illegal. You can earn more money, but you can't earn more time. So when you're paying for knowledge that you need to get to the next level, that is the shortcut in life. That's why people who go to college statistically have higher incomes than those that don't, because they paid for a certain experience to get to where they wanted to go. And you can put in the time and garner enough work experience to move up, or you can start at a higher level, and out of the gate you're starting at a higher level. So that's the main difference. So you can go to flippingfreedom.com/0 to 60 promo. I'm supposed to be typing that in here.
Yes.
If you're back on the page, I think some of you guys are watching on YouTube, which is how we're streaming this video to you. If you go back to the page, you'll see the comment in there. Flippingfreedom.com. Let me actually paste it so that I can say that truthfully, that it's there.
And also, guys, through 0 to 60, what we wanted to do was be in a position where we could afford, to actually what we call pop the hood on our business, right? So we share a lot of really good, really valuable information in Flipping Freedom through the 5-day challenge that we did. But obviously, we're creating our own competition to a large extent, so those of you guys who commit to doing 0 to 60, we can now afford to show you everything we do, every trick and wrinkle and idea and nuance. So again, that's what you're getting, and it's no different than my tennis instructor example. Yeah, I could go out on the tennis court every day after I get off work and just whack at the ball and hit it over the fence and hit it into the net, or I could be serious enough to commit to that instructor who's been doing it for a while, much longer, and can kind of shorten my learning curve and make me a better tennis player faster.
Right.
So
the real question at this point is, if this program only does half of what we claim that it does, would it be worth it? So if you can get to whatever half of you have, whatever number you have in your head, if you can get to half that, is it worth it? Can you, with that goal achieved, could you afford the payment plan, or could you afford to pay in full to get all the bonuses? Because especially with the Quick Start Care package, you're gonna have to get that stuff anyway, so why not get it included for free? You're gonna have to spend that money anyway, or you can pay in full and then we'll spend that out of our pocket for you. So if we have any questions, I think now would be a good time. We're gonna do a quick countdown. It is 5 o'clock, so we're gonna do like a 2-minute countdown. It's actually 2 minutes to 5. If you guys have any questions, pop them in now. We'll answer them before we get off, but our students are waiting.
Yep. And as we close out, guys, typically when we do this this presentation, if you will, there's 3 types of people, right? The number 3 person says, you know what, great information, thanks for the 3 tips, and I'm going to keep kind of doing it my own way, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, we firmly believe you take what you can get, and if that's all you want, then fine, but if you're getting value from Hallie and I, if you get value from Flipping Freedom, maybe you can tell some people, who are also looking for maybe some extra money or some debt reduction, less stress, right? Some more financial options. Maybe you can let them know about our community and send them our way so they can become part of this tribe that's growing. The number 2 person sees it, says, you know what? I see the value. I just have some questions, kind of like Sharon or Kate or a lot of people, honestly. I have some questions. I want to know how this can apply to me, or this is what I'm dealing with. So if you have questions, guys, this is the great time. We can take it offline. If you have some specific questions that Hallie or I could answer for you, don't hesitate.
Yeah, right? You can inbox me personally on my personal Facebook. You can inbox us on our Flippin' Freedom Facebook page, or you can ask questions here, whatever you want.
So again, the number 2 person says, you know what, this sounds really good. It's intriguing. I just have some questions, and if I can get my questions answered satisfactory, then you know what, I want to get on board from 0 to 60. Now the number 1 person says, man, you guys could have stopped at number 2 when you talked about Amy's and Jackie's and Brittany's success story. Like I want that. I need that, right? And I'm tired of stubbing my toe. I'm tired of waking up every day financially terrified. Like I need this. And you guys sold me, I'm in, right? So if you're number 1, you're really the type of person we love working with, the person we can lock arms with, we can kind of share all of our stuff with, pop the hood in our business, and kind of help you get that accountability, get that control of your business, avoid all of the things we talked about on your way to your goal for your business. So if you're number one, we definitely want to welcome you aboard and into 0 to 60, part of our race team. And we're looking forward to helping you get to that level and celebrate your success and results, just like everyone else who we've name dropped and things like that up to this point.
Right. So yeah, I would take action now. I would do it sooner than later because you want to be able to get these bonuses. I can promise you want these bonuses.
Yeah. And you want to be in this accountability, this enhanced accountability group that we're starting tomorrow as well. Trust me. Because we all have goals. We all have the next level that we want to get to, us included, right? And this enhanced accountability group is going to do just that for everyone who's participating.
Yes. So if you have questions, you can inbox me. The link to the promo is flippinfreedom.com.
No G. Flippin.
Right. Flippin, no G. flippinfreedom.com/0 TO 6 0, so 0 to 60, one word, -promo. 0 to 60 promo. It's for the JV July promo. You'll see what you're getting there. When you click on I'm in, you will get rerouted to the checkout page. You pick what plan you want, whether that's the pay in full plan with the bonuses or you want the payment plan with the 2 JV July bonuses. Pick whichever one you want. They're both there for you. It's totally up to you. It makes no difference stuff whatsoever. But I would recommend that if you're serious and you know that you need the support and you know that you want to end the year and the decade, end the decade on a high note, I would recommend doing it now and getting in that next level mastermind. That is the biggest part of the bonus, I think, which is why we're including all of you guys in it, whether you choose the payment plan or not, because we know that that'll make a big difference for you. So that's all we have. We got to go support our students in our Zoom mastermind Q&A. Like right meow.
Right meow. And I want to leave you guys, I'm big on quotes, especially from very accomplished people, because there's lessons. So one of my favorite quotes, you guys may have heard it from me before, but it's the first one that pops up into my head. And this quote says, "Things may come to those who wait, but only what's left by those who hustle." I'll say that one more time. Things may come to those who wait, but only what's left by those who hustle.
Right.
And no one believes me when I say this, but it's true. You can look it up. This quote was given by Abraham Lincoln. Things may come to those who wait, but only what's left by those who hustle. So if you're ready to get in hustle mode, to take your life to the next level, to take your business to the next level, let's do this together, and we will see you soon. Over and out.
I'm sorry, I have one more comment. If you go to the link that you got to this webinar, you will see the yellow button that says Join 0 to 60. That'll take you to the information page where you can read more about it, exactly what's included. You can check out the payment plans and all the bonuses if you like to see things in writing and not just hear them. That'll take you there. And if you're just ready to check out, there's a yellow button. Once you click the yellow button on that page, there's another button that says I'm in, and you can just go straight to the checkout page and you don't want to read anything. Easy peasy. Which is normally how I am. I'm like, I already know I want it. Sign me up.
Let's get started.
So yeah, that's all we had. Bye guys. Have a great
Wednesday.
Ciao.
And a great rest of your July.
For the 7 hours that are left on July and on this promo. See you guys.
Bye.